Hello everyone and welcome to this newest edition of Adeptus Podcastus. This is Remleiz from 40k Theories alongside Michael from Tactica Imperialis and EgoQueenAlexis. So firstly, how is everyone doing today?
I am doing really well.
Pretty good, thank you.
That's good to hear. Now, as you probably are aware, a lot of stuff has gone down in the last couple of weeks in regards to 8th edition and Warhammer Fest and beyond. So let's just jump straight in with the news about 8th edition. For starters, a release date.
Yes, for the record, it is the 28th of May. We're recording this actually quite late. I'm not going to apologise for it, but it's because of me. It's the 28th of May, so everything that's happened between... But I asked it to be moved.
Oh, you're talking about the date today. I'm like, wait, that's today. Sorry, I'm being brainless.
Yes, we're recording today.
Information correct up until the 28th of May.
Ignore me.
So yeah, moving on. Release date confirmed, and there's been some teasing of a new Primaris Dreadnought, which looks like the Ed 209 from Robocop, and another teaser for Demon Mortarion.
The teaser for the Redemptor, we've also seen models. It's been on display at Warhammer Fest today, so there's been some more quality images put up around.
I
actually like the design of it. I like the design of it, though. It looks like the Imperium's actually starting to progress a bit in technology.
Well, it's like they just slapped more armor plating on it and just went, hey, Sentinel legs are better than these stupid Dreadnought legs.
To be fair, the first thing I saw when I looked at it was, it's just a big ironclad. That was my first reaction when I saw it, it's a big ironclad.
Did you see its weapon, though? It's like some sort of big-ass Gatling cannon.
That's one. I think the kit's going to come with multiple weapons, from what I can infer.
Unless it's from Forge World, in which case it won't.
The Redemptor's GW because it's Primaris.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And there's also a leak in some pictures of a new transport, which looks like a Land Raider with a massive turret stuck on top of it with no side sponsons.
Oh god, that sounds vaguely terrifying.
So I'm guessing it's some kind of Primaris version of the Razorback. Initially.
That's scary.
Wait, if it's a land... Did we get it to scale, or did we just get it on its own?
No, there's a picture of all these Primaris Marines, and behind them was it was a Land Raider with a big turret on top, but no side sponsons. So I'm assuming it's a new transport for the Primaris, or they're releasing a brand new tank, like a heavy weapon gun battery version of a Land Raider.
Which, considering the Space Marines don't really do artillery, like they've got the Stalker and Hunter for that. They wouldn't need a big ass gun on a Land Raider. It's not their style.
They do artillery. They have the Whirlwinds.
Well, it's more about mobile. It's more about mobile artillery than big, stupid whack-off guns like the Guard have with the Death Strike in the battle. That's not their style.
Well, yeah, the Space Marines are a shock and awe army. They're going to come down, they're going to win the war, and then they're going to leave.
Exactly. So having a big ass cannon on the back of a tank, it would have to be a transport, or at least dual purpose, as opposed to just being an artillery piece, I think.
Yeah, that's why I'm assuming it's some kind of Primaris Razorback.
Perhaps, although, because it will have to give up transport capacity to house all the things for the gun. So, I could see that.
And the Space Marines themselves are gigantic.
Yeah, I saw them to scale today in my GW. And also, the Death Guard have been talking to Fabius Bile or something, because they've had a growth spurt.
Yep.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. I'm not sure if that's just because, Nurgle, and, Nurgle makes everything bloated and basically larger and fatter. I don't know if it's just because of that, or if Fabius Bile actually has something to do with it, or...
Well, I mean, the Poxwalkers are nearly as big as the old Astalites. The Poxwalkers are pretty damn big as well, the new Plague Zombies.
Those things have probably... Actually, did anybody else notice they have a 7+ armor save?
Yeah, that's really weird.
I can explain it.
Is it something to do like you have to roll a dice, get a 6, and then hopefully if you get above that or something? No?
Okay, so the way cover actually works in 8th edition is it affects your armor save instead.
Yeah, it does.
So a Poxwalker on a Ruin will have a +3 to his armor save or +4 to his armor save. But other weapons will actually minus that with their AP.
I get this, because I know there's a rule, or I don't know if it was a hard and fast rule, that something that had no save, I think this is the case in Age of Sigmar, something with no save cannot get +1 save. So they had to give it an artificial, non-existent save so it could get buffed. That makes sense.
Yep.
That does make
sense. Also, the 7+ and them being Nurgle. Come on.
Oh dear. Did anyone else notice that one of them looked like Rick from Rick and Morty?
Yes, I did.
Maybe Morty's Mortarian in this case.
Oh my god.
In more logical news, I just want to quickly talk about Horus Heresy, because we've got 3 things in the Horus Heresy to talk about, 1 piece of rumour and 2 bits of news. In the news, we have, well, more importantly to me, in the most recent news, we have the Thousand Sun release. Magnus, Armon...
Fuck Magnus.
The diorama for Russ and Magnus.
Which looks sick, by the way.
They should have had the other diorama of Russ breaking his back.
I mean, someone will create that, but for the sake of an actual usable model, Magnus bent over Russ's knee wouldn't work, because you need to be able to take them off the bases again, so no. We've also had the Dreadnoughts, the Sekhmet, the Kennetai Cult, all that stuff, and a big combined box set, which has a little bit of everything, including the Special Psychic Battle Automator, which is £350.
Yes, I showed you that, and you were probably like...
Of an American?
It's £350 in US times about 1.4.
Roughly about $500 roughly.
About $500, yeah.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I didn't buy it, Remleiz, before you asked. I have pre-ordered Magnus because he's available from the 2nd, I think, pre-orders officially end, so I think he's going to be available from the 2nd of June.
That's the point. Alexis, do you actually have a Primarch model?
Yes. I have
Which
2
one?
of them.
Hey, we're all going to have Primarchs now, because I got my Conrad Kurz, so we've all got Primarchs.
Yeah, because remember, Alexis is loyal, she hates Mortarion.
I meant
the 40K version. Mortarion, so I have Garrow, so it's kind of a pseudo-Primarch.
He's not a Primarch, doesn't count.
No, he's not a Primarch, but he's way more useful than Mortarion.
Yeah, the one thing I noticed, actually, while I was in GW today, is they had a bunch of stuff from, like, painting competitions up, and someone had done a Gilliman, and someone had done a Kurz, and an Ivrain, and a Incarn and stuff. And the pictures, it's very subtle, but I've noticed that GW's photographers are really good at making the large models seem larger than they are. Because I looked at Kurz's model, I was like, is Kurz really that small? Because Kurz's model is not that big.
No, Kurz is relatively small.
Yeah, he's not the smallest, that'll be Alfarius, but it was surprising how small Kurz actually is when you consider that, like, most people consider the Primarchs to be like these like titanic demigods.
And Lorgar.
Okay, the second
little bitch of the Primarchs.
The second bit of news concerns Book 8. Remleiz, take the helm.
Oh yes, we got a lot of information in regards to Book 8. I'm just trying to find it all.
I scrolled back through.
Yes. So Book 8 will be called Angelus, and it features a lot of information about the Blood Angels and the Dark Angels legions, as well as demons, the Dark Mechanicum, even more stuff about the Night Lords.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Yes. As well as several campaigns and stuff in regards to things such as Cygnus Prime, the Framas Crusade, Persecution of Sarum, the Siege of Baal, Passage of the Angel of Death, and the Rise of the Dark Mechanicum, and Demons and Diabloism in Horus Heresy.
Question. I don't know what half of those battles are, and I've done the Blood Angels Legion. When did Baal come under siege in the Heresy?
During the Horus Heresy. Don't forget, when the majority of the Legion went off to Cygnus Prime, only like a skeleton crew were left on Baal.
Yes, and they nearly killed Tylos Rubio when he told them to disband. Yes. I never saw a record of Baal coming under siege.
Maybe it's that's been purely added for this.
It must have been, because it's news to me.
Also, they might be talking about some of the lost stories to the Heresy.
That's true. That's a point. I think I don't recognise what was the name of the campaign between the Night Lords and the Dark Angels, because there was a huge campaign between the two of them.
Yes, because that led up to the start of Imperium Secundus, when Lionel Johnson was tracking down Comrade Kurz in his ship, wasn't it?
Yeah, when the Night Lords were broken and Kurz was hiding on the Is it the Invincible Reason or the Indomitable Reason? Or whatever Lion's flagship was called.
Reason, I think it is.
Yeah, I thought Invincible Reason. That might be the Thramas Crusade, actually. I can't remember its name.
Sure.
But yeah, also, it looks like this is something worth pointing out as well. 30k is getting 7th edition. It's staying 7th. completely. It was kind of obvious.
Still taking credit for it. Called it.
Fine. And so obviously I think Diabolism is probably just their new name for Malefic Demonology.
Yeah.
I'm going.
I thought we're getting. What are the odds on getting brand new unique demon units, considering they're adding demons to the game?
Well, we'll get a model for Commander, perhaps.
That's true. It makes sense considering it's dealing with Cygnus Prime, and Sanguinius and Commander had a big fight, didn't they? So
the Angel of Death. The Angel of Death. Sorry, I'm getting confused again because the Red Angel popped up during Cygnus Prime, not the Angel of Death. That's news to me.
Maybe the Red Angel will get rules.
The Red Angel existed for about 10 minutes, and then didn't show up again for a while.
He was featured quite prominently in the novel Vengeful Spirit, where Horus laid siege to Moloch.
Yeah, it was more around Malek. Yeah, you're right, but it wouldn't involve this lot. So to speak, because we haven't got to Malek yet, because we haven't got most of the Knights Errant.
No. But you know what still annoys me? The fact we still haven't had a model for Alpharius. We've had this rule for how fucking long now?
I know.
I think they're never going to do it as the joke.
Well, speaking of Primarchs, so this is the rumour. There is a bit of rumour. I think someone spoke to one of the Forge World designers and during Warhammer Fest, and they say they're working on Dawn, apparently. So Dawn is not...
Oh, sweet.
Too far off. I think we also need to mention while we're talking. I know this is a little bit tougher to do, but Forge World, one of Forge World's main writers, I think is the guy was responsible for Horus Heresy Book 1 and stuff. Alan Bly has sadly died. We found out this week.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
He was one of the main writers behind the 30k series, and well, I don't need to tell you how damn good that lore is.
Well,
and there's been a lot of tribute.
Fighting alongside the Emperor now.
More likely, he's the chief remembrancer of whatever's going on.
Anyway,
in lighter news,
yes.
the new Terminator freaking Custodians look badass. They actually look like Horn Blackheart.
Yes.
Wait, I didn't see these. Hold on, I'm going to go to. Are they on Forge World's website?
Nope.
Okay,
they're on Warhammer Community.
Yep.
Okay, I'll go to the Forge World section of that then.
It's actually really cool. Also, the Sisters of Silence got dual-wielding pistol models.
Yes, they look pretty cool.
They do.
Also, I think, and we all know the reason why there was no new Primarch model released is because the Blood Ravens stole the damn thing.
There was no new Primarch model released. Hello?
Yeah,
apart
no
from
new
Magnus,
Primarch model. Don't worry about him. He doesn't
I meant
count.
I meant for Book 8.
Not from Book 8. Yeah, not from
the
Book
Blood
8.
Ravens stole it. Magnus's bastard son stole it, and I don't know about you, I really don't like the sculpt. The head is absurdly large. It looks like it's been stretched. It looks too cartoony, just like Dawn of War 3.
It was funny. I think I was talking maybe on a stream about whether the Dawn of War guys were ever going to get models, like someone wanted a model for Gorguts, and I was like, well, I don't think they're ever going to do it because it's sort of not a separate canon, but you know what I mean, like almost a separate canon. And then all of a sudden, wallop, here's Gabriel Angelos.
Yeah,
so,
I'm pretty sure just Games Workshop watched that. No, Forge World watched that. They're like, you know what, Michael? No, you're wrong.
it was just convenient timing was all.
Also, we do have the Resin Thunderhawk, the new model for it.
I can't find these flipping Custodes Terminators. Are you sure it's on Warhammer Community? So
I can show you the picture. Hang on.
Yeah, just ping it over because I can't find it.
They look really good though.
Yeah, I'll see.
As well as more pictures of the Sisters of Silence transport, the drill things.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean about the Hero Blackheart.
The giant dildos, as
symbol
I
that
call
they
them.
fly in. And why did they pick a fucking? That's so. It's so stupid looking. I am sorry.
Symbolism.
Stupid looking.
Symbolism.
It really is, and that's the worst part. We also have the Sakaran battle tanks with all the different turrets now, including the Scorpius turret, an Annihilator turret, which is like 2 giant plasma cannons. It's a tank destroyer variant, and then one with a giant Gatling gun on top of it.
Yeah, I also think I've seen the special Iron Warrior Terminators have got models now. The Gorgon Terminators, or whatever they're called. The ones with the missile launchers that Alexis thought were Iron Hands all the way back in like episode 3.
Yep. Well, in all fairness, everybody can take those now.
Really?
Pretty much. Like, my Death Guard get grenade launchers on top of their Terminators. Ultramarines have better ones. Iron Hands
a grenade launcher is not a missile launcher. Not by a long shot. No, but
my grenade launchers are actually better than those pesky little missile launchers.
As you wish.
Hey. My Death Guard are awesome.
Didn't say they weren't. I just truly don't like them because an army of Terminators and Dreadnoughts curb stomped my only game of my Thousand Suns.
Good. You played Thousand Suns.
Weren't you painting Thousand Suns the other day?
Shut up! Is what I was doing.
Oh dear, we should.
Are we going to go into your room, Alex, and find a big poster of Azek Araman on the wall saying, like, Araman Senpai?
You know what, Remleiz? I'm going to fly over to England, and I'm going to rip that dinosaur skull off of you, and I'm going to punch you in the mouth.
Anyway, moving
promises,
on to...
Promises.
You're not helping. You're really not helping.
Anyway, obvious joke is obvious.
Yeah. Let's now talk about 8th edition, because, well, we've got a fuck ton to talk about there as well. We've got the rules on reserves, so it's the AOS system now.
Did you guys notice that the Gene Stealer cult did not change at all? They did a faction focus for the Gene Stealer cult, and they're just like, yeah, they're exactly the same. That's it.
Not exactly. They still follow the same 9-inch setup rules, but Gene Stealers, I think, get to move after they arrive.
It's all based on the cult ambush table, which hopefully won't change.
Do you know what it sounds like? It sounds like that one time with Warhammer Fantasy where they made the demon armies and they were so broken they had to reboot the entire game system because it was that broken. So with Gene Stealers that broken, they've had to reboot the entire game system because of it.
Yes.
Quite frank. Well, this is why I'm glad that they're going to do this on a 1-year rolling pass. So if Gene Stealer cults are absurd, then they'll get patched.
They are absurd.
I know.
Although I very nearly lost a game recently with them.
Dun dun dun.
I know. We were playing a 2,000-point game, and I was losing up until the point I summoned 4 squads.
Yeah.
4 free, fully upgraded squads because, it's fair.
Well, that's never going to happen again. You'll be able to summon.
What they might do is they're going to do the you pay points for them and put them off in reserve and then summon them.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. So you will have to pay for them now. There'll be no such thing as free, fully upgraded squads.
I like my free, fully upgraded squads.
In other news, the unwieldy rule is gone.
Yep, unwieldy.
Because Power Fists.
Oh, go ahead.
Because Power Fists now you're -1 to hit, but they go on time. So they can go automatically first if you're on the charge.
Sweet.
Also, combi weapons. You can fire both in one turn at -1 ballistic skill, one or the other. And they don't run out of ammunition.
That's true. The other interesting thing, looking at the combat weapons, so they've got the little stats here for the Power Axe, Power Maul, and Power Sword. And it's interesting that the Power Sword has got 3 AP. Whereas the axe now only has 2 for +1 strength, and the maul has 1 for +2 strength. So they've made a power sword effectively what used to be AP 1, but strikes at strength, in order to make up for the fact that the power axe now goes at initiative without penalty.
Well, the way I see it is the power axe is more meant to take down tanks, where the power sword is infantry.
You'll use the maul for tanks now, because the axe has no real benefit, because the maul is just more strength.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say, sorry. That's why I'm glad I one of my fans sent me a whole bunch of power mauls for the Sisters of Battle. Because I anticipated them getting better power weapons, and I looked over the 7th edition ones, and I had a leak, but, I kind of had a feeling that they were going to be good.
Speaking of having a feeling, I think the power axe is going to be people's go-to anti-Primaris weapon. Because the power sword, most people will be using that at strength 4 on average. Whereas the axe will be able to go at 5, which against Primaris is probably going to be pretty damn important. And the maul provides no extra benefit because it's not like +2 strength equals 2 to wound. It's now you need double. So unless you're already strength... Primaris toughness 4 or 5, remind me?
Primaris at T5.
Exactly. So the maul provides no benefit unless you're already S8. over the axe. So I think the axe is going to be people's anti-primaris weapon, but I think the sword will be your main infantry weapon, and your maul will be your anti-tank weapon, which is honestly probably how it should be. In thinking.
Also, I wanted to bring this up. Aside from me coughing to death, sorry about that. I was talking to my distributor for my gaming store. I work at one. We barely do 40k stuff, but we have it in the store, so I do orders for it every now and then.
Yeah.
I was asking about Imperial Armor 8, the second edition books, the new ones coming up, and he said to me that forces will be able to use tanks that they've never had before. To which my rebuttal question was, can I put Sisters of Battle in a Redeemer? Like, that's all I care about. Can I have nuns with guns in a giant armored tank? Please.
With flamethrowers?
Yes.
Well,
he couldn't
speaking of transport...
but it was still kind of cool.
On the topic of transports, it's not one-to-one anymore. You can have as many models as fits. So you can have... So to make up for the fact that characters can't join squads anymore, you can now put a 10-man squad and one extra in a transport, for example, whatever the transport capacity happens to be. So that means now... let me think of a good example of something that's absolutely terrifying as a combination. 2 units that really need to be together.
Sisters of Silence?
Sisters of Silence and any other close combat nightmare.
Sisters of Silence and a EgoQueenAlexis assassin, perhaps?
No, the Sisters of Silence are better than the assassons.
Yeah, but the two would probably combo off quite nicely.
Probably be better
Sisters of
with a
Silence
Versal
and
Assassin.
Death Guard.
Death Guard?
No, what are the Blood
Heresy.
Angel ones? Blood Angel ones. Death Company.
Death Company.
Okay.
Death Company. Yeah, Death Company could get some nasty buffs. And even for me, thinking as a Tau player, I don't use transports as much. But now I have the ability... I think I'd be able to it depends on all the rules, but I might be able to transport my sniper drones around or something, because sniper drones look absolutely hilariously good fun to use.
I used to run them.
Yeah, but now the Firesight Marksman's gone, so you don't have to get your spotter killed for them to be on the move, and they're the only things that are going to be able to target characters because they've got snipers. So that's going to be hilarious.
It really is. One of the things is you have to shoot the closest enemy now. Unless you do a leadership test to fire past them.
Yeah, and that applies to any character with less than 10 wounds as well. If you've got more than 10 wounds, then you can be targeted without hindrance, which is convenient because Gilliman's got 9.
Ha! Eat it, nerds. It doesn't matter. Squishy can take him in 1v1 combat.
We know.
Absolutely annihilate him.
Here's the thing, though. Could Gilliman take him out?
More than likely.
Because this is the thing, I get the feeling that in character combat, if you charge, you win. It looks like it could be in the big character fights, whoever charges wins.
Well, we don't know what those other command points do. They might have interrupts still.
Yeah, there are. I think there are interrupts.
Spoiled of it.
Yeah, and there's also been some spoiled stratagems for Stronghold Assault and Cities of Death, which are going to be in the big rulebook.
Which I'm happy about.
And they have their own unique command points.
Oh, and can we talk about this? The big rulebook is $25.
It's not. It's about 35 quid.
Yeah, I have the pre-order for 25.
How? Wait, how? Hang on a minute.
If it's 35 quid here, that means it should be around 50 for you guys.
Yeah, because I was told the starter box was 95, and then
the starter
it was
box
basically
is 160 for us.
Yeah, and it was effectively 60 because.
Or am I thinking the books themselves?
I think the indices are £15. The little indices that are going to form the codice, that are going to contain all the rules, they are £15, and so they'll be about $25. But the pre-orders aren't even up yet.
For you.
They're not up until the 3rd of June.
Yeah.
For anyone.
Them.
How?
I work at a store.
That doesn't... Anyway, the point is, it's not 25 quid for the rulebook, it's 25 quid for the codices, and then 35 quid for the big rule book, which will contain like Stronghold Assault, a bunch of missions, possibly some other stuff, and also the fluff. So we're going to need to buy that.
Because I'm getting the delivery on the 3rd for my shop for that.
Right. Okay. Is there anything else of particular import in here?
Mortarion.
I'm just going through 8th edition stuff before we get to Mortarion. There's been another article on the Primaris Marines.
Oh yeah, the Primaris Marine Hellburster Squad, or Hell whatever squad. The edgelords of the Primaris Marines, who have a plasma gun that is insanely powerful.
I haven't seen that. I haven't actually seen their rules.
Oh, is that the entire squad of plasma guns?
Yes, yeah. Holy crap, are they good. Oh, and plasma doesn't overheat unless you make it strength 8.
Oh, so they're giving it like...
it.
Oh, it's overcharged like the Tau Ion weapons have.
Yeah, it's a supercharged weapon now. So the normal one is strength 7, AP minus something, I can't remember. And then the supercharged is strength 8, but on a 1, the model, after firing all of his shots, is slain.
Oh,
also,
it's not...
the disembarkation rules are cool, because it used to be that if I surrounded a rhino with boys or gaunts and destroyed it, if one guy in the unit couldn't make it to be set, the entire unit was destroyed. Now it's the entire unit tries to disembark, and those who can't are destroyed. Also, if a vehicle is destroyed, explodes, the guys inside...
It doesn't explode anymore, it just goes to 0 wounds.
Yeah, yes. The guys inside are just slain.
No, it's on a 1. On ones.
Yeah, on ones, they're just slain, regardless of wounds.
Yeah, same as with the plasma guns then. The interesting one I wanted to draw attention to, I haven't seen the plasma guys, was the captain. Because he's got basically a discount Gauntlet of Ultramar, which is in turn a discount Hand of Dominion. I mean, it's a 3-shot bolt pistol that's also a power fist.
Oh, and you got those deep striking guys with the 2 heavy bolter pistols.
Yep. 3 shots each. Strike 5, AP1.
Insane.
Yep. They also get Hammer of Wrath. And Deep Strike.
Yeah, I'm just going to be running them up and heavy boltering things in close combat.
If you wanted to, yeah. Also, noted a lot of people were considering what sort of armor Gravis armor was. Well, it's power armor, basically. It's a variant of power armor because it's a 3-up save.
Well, yeah, I don't understand why people thought it was Terminator armor just because it was bigger. Well, it's got the big backpack on the back.
I thought
it doesn't have that.
I thought it could have been Artificer, to be fair. I wasn't sure if it would be Artificer, but...
Artificer armor is still power armor, just finely crafted power armor.
Yeah, but it's treated as it would be a 2+ save. It's not a 2+ save.
Oh, and I'm going to address this now. The Ancient is just the name for a guy who carries a banner.
Yeah, that caused a stir.
Although I am still confused how they have a Dreadnought already. I'm just guessing that Frank died along the way there, and they're just like, oh, whatever, we have a Dreadnought.
Well, we know that Marines can become Primaris, so it could be basically, for want of a better word, a transplant from one chassis to another. I don't know if that's possible.
Probably. This is 40k. Everything's possible.
Except for that.
Well,
I didn't know.
After
I was speculating.
The destruction of Baal, the devastation of Baal, the Gathering Storm, it's really at the writer's discretion.
Yeah, right. Now let's get to the actual plot, shall we? And Mortarion and Alexis bragging about doing more videos.
Can I just say, you know that picture of that nice piece of artwork for 8th edition with Gilliman and Mortarion fighting? Was I the first person to notice the fact that Mortarion was using his pistol? It's the first time I've seen a demon prince using a pistol.
I need to have a proper look at his face.
I'm actually looking at him, and the only demon princey aspect of him is his giant wings. He is still in his armor.
Well, that was pretty much his only demony princey aspect: the wings and the fact he's got his robes over his armor.
Yeah, because if you look at Mortarion, is it Mortarion's Heart, the audio drama, or whatever it's called?
Yeah,
he doesn't look that different there either. So it's not like it's changed a precedent.
It's like, oh, hey, you're a demon prince now, because, whatever.
I just find it weird that all the other demon primarchs, like Fulgrim, he gave up his gun so he can use a whole bunch of swords. Angron uses a massive sword now, or an axe, or both, depending on his mood. You got Magnus with his big spear sword thing, and then you got Mortarion go, fuck, I'm just going to shoot you.
Yep.
Well, to be fair, Fulgrim never had a gun, as far as I'm aware. Magnus is a psyker, so doesn't need a gun. Angron is Angron. But if Mortarion's got a gun, then I keep coming back to this. How cool is Demon Perk going to look? Seriously.
We don't even know what he's going to look like. I mean,
exactly. We don't
Can you
know.
imagine him just being a gigantic obliterator?
That's my thought. That's what I think he is going to be. Fused with the Logos and just being an absolute monstrosity that just comes stomping for your face.
Also, Mortarion is standing-wise, he's not much bigger than Guilliman.
No, actually, from that angle, no.
Actually,
so when are you going to get Mortarion for your Death Guard? I don't think she heard me.
Wait, sorry, I wasn't listening.
I said, when are you going to get Mortarion for your Death Guard?
Well, I probably am going to order him, but meh. I have to dig my Death Guard, my actual Death Guard army, out of my storage room. I haven't played them since 4th edition.
Mm. I think what's going to be the interesting challenge, actually, with Mortarion and, to a lesser extent, Angron, is, other than colour, they've got to do something to make sure that he and Magnus are quite different, because they've both got whack-off wings.
One is going to be tiny compared to the red douchebag giant.
But I mean, unless they, I don't know, we obviously haven't got enough of a look at his model yet, but I'm interested to see what his pose is going to be, as to how they're going to make him look.
Well, according to the leak for the Mortarion model, which seems to be matching up for all the previews that have been dropped by GW, it looks like he's kind of in a similar pose to the Celestin Prime, like he's hovering in place, but carrying his scythe in both hands, like he's about to swing upwards with it.
Scythes make terrible close combat weapons. Just saying.
Yes, they are.
He's probably going to get sweep attack. You realise that?
Yeah,
or some equivalent
to
sweep attack.
Of the scythe from 30k.
Yeah, the Death
Shroud
scythe.
As well as dealing probably d6 wounds each.
Yeah, this is something I wanted to clarify. When it says damage d6, now this is something that I really need to clarify, because it depends. This could potentially break some models.
One guy.
Yeah, this is what I want to clarify. Is it actually, if you roll a 6, it's 6 wounds that get spread, or is it 6 wounds to a model?
It's 6 wounds to a model. Okay,
good. That stops the Swarm Lord killing a 50-man squad in one go.
Well, as far as I know it is, from the playtesting that I've done. But the wound pool is still there. And the other things the community released said you take away models with wounds first. So it would imply that the wounds pile over.
Yeah, there just needs to be some clarification there, because if it gives the Swarm Lord the potential, I mean, it's going to be 2s and 2s in most cases, so that's going to be 6 wounds. Average of that is going to be that's what is that? 21 wounds that he's putting out per round on average against not tanks. Against anything that he's wounding on 2s. So anything he's wounding on 3s, which is most things, it'll be what? 2s, 3s, that's going to be about 5 wounds. Average that can be 14, about 18 wounds around.
I'm okay with all of this.
I'm not okay with a model that can delete 2 units in a round.
Well, you gotta remember, he could also consolidate into combat, meaning he could do that again next round and be perfectly safe.
Yeah, well, there is the fallback mechanic that exists, so he's not perfectly safe.
Yeah. But still, you fall back after combat.
You fall back at the start of the movement phase.
Oh, you do? What a bitch move. Wait, then you just consolidate right into combat.
The consolidation happens at the end of the combat phase. The fallback happens in the movement phase of the next turn.
Huh, okay.
Because
so
otherwise
it's indestructible.
Because the problem that caused, this is why 4th edition was such a problem for Guard and Tau. 1, Overwatch didn't exist, and 2, you could literally have a unit that just went combat to combat to combat that was actually functionally immortal. And
I miss those days.
I didn't play in those days, so I didn't get a chance to miss them, but having a unit just be functionally immortal as it piled through as many units as there were combat phases just is not fair. So And I'd be saying that whether I was an Alt player or a Tau player. I'd be saying exactly the same thing for the record. I'm not saying that as a complaining, whingy Tau player. I'm saying that because that's just the way it would be.
Wait, did you just admit to being a complaining, whingy Tau player?
No, I'm saying that's what people would call me if I didn't make that clarification.
They're still going to call you that.
Sure. Anyway, moving on. You got anything else to talk about in the news?
I think we've covered pretty much everything, really.
Well, we've done well for time in that case.
The one thing that I do like about this edition is the fact that Guilliman can take a drop pod. The Stormlord can actually charge out of his drop pod. Well, as far as I am aware, because all of the Deep Strike rules don't have a hindrance on charging.
No, they don't.
So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about making the Swarmlord useful again. Because in 5th edition, he was really good. In 6th edition and 7th edition, he was garbage. Like, there was no point to taking a Swarmlord over a Hive Tyrant with Twin Link Devourer, Brain Leech Worms, and Wings.
This is true. The one thing they've also, I didn't get to mention this earlier about reserves, is you can't keep a unit in reserve forever. So like, you choose when to bring it in, but if you haven't brought it in by the end of turn 3, it's destroyed.
Yep. But you have 3 turns to decide when you want to bring it in.
And you also have a limit as to how much you're allowed to keep in reserve. So my Farsight Bomb is rip.
Well, I know drop pod armies are okay by this.
I think drop pods probably have a different set of rules, but I know like for tactical reserves, there's a limit to how much you're allowed to keep off the board.
Yeah.
Initially,
it might be like 4th edition where if
I think it's 50%.
had to arrive by by Deep Strike, then they got around the rule of not having, because it was like 50% of your army has to be on the table, or 25% of your army has to be on the table.
I think it's 50% now.
Yeah. Either way, it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I can make it work, but it's going to force a few changes, but that's fine. And narrative play exists.
Narrative play is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And Remleiz has an army.
I do, yes. It's coming along very nicely.
Yeah, you've already painted nearly as much as me for my 30k, because I've only got... I've nearly got 2 squads done and a character. You've got a squad and a bit, haven't you?
No, just one squad fully done now.
Just one squad, okay.
I'm trying to decide what to do next, because I don't want to do another tactical squad yet, just because I get bored otherwise. So I'm thinking... Go on. So I was thinking maybe either doing one of the Dreadnoughts I have, or maybe one of the squads of Terminators.
Well, I broke mine up in that I did a tactical squad, then I did Ahriman, and then I did 5 guys, I did Ahriman, I did 5 guys, I did some Terminators, and then I've just done what I can when I've had time. So my plan is, I've got Magnus coming now on pre-order, so I'm going to try and get my Terminator squad and my second tactical squad finished before I touch Magnus and start working on him. Because that's what you can do.
Michael wants to touch Magnus.
Fuck you.
Not right now. I'm kind of tired.
Yeah, but you just want to touch Ahriman, though, Alexis. So
what I would do...
Not Ahriman. He's weird.
So what I would do, Remleiz, is maybe do a Dreadnought now, then do another squad, then I don't know, do the Praetor and the Chaplain, then do the other squad, and then do Kurz. Yes, that's I think the Latin pronunciation.
Praetor.
I personally prefer Praetor.
Weird.
Latin.
I just call him the captain.
Yeah, same for the most part.
Actually, there's 1,000. There was
about this. What did you equip your Tartarus Terminators with?
I haven't actually assembled them yet, so no idea.
If I can make a suggestion,
Go on.
I like making them anti-infantry. So what I do is, in one hand, give them a lightning claw, and in the other hand, a combi flamer.
There are no combi flamers available in that box. There's not even. I don't even know if there's a heavy in that box, but I've gone with quite.
There's a heavy in the box. There's an autocannon, I think.
There's an autocannon, and there's a plasma blaster, a Volkite gun, and Reaper Auto.
He also has all of the tactical marines who have all the combi weapons.
Tactical marines have combi weapons in Prospero?
Yes, because there's the from the Calf one. There's the pistol that you can attach a combi bit to.
Yep.
Right. That's in Calf, not Prospero. That makes sense.
I've got both of them, so.
Okay. But yeah, with my Tartarus, I've gone with quite an anti-infantry build. And to be fair, though, claws just make sense for the Night Lords anyway, so...
Oh, yeah. I mean, I gave my squad leader a lightning claw and a plasma pistol.
Yeah, mine's got my... Oh, is that for your sergeant? Actually, I think my sergeant has that. Yeah, actually, my sergeant has that.
Oh, you guys have lame weapons. My sergeants have power sights.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have my rules yet. But yeah. To be fair, there's going to be a lot of... it'll be interesting. I'm surprised they haven't actually put out rules for the Khopesh yet, or they're just going to treat it as a power axe.
No, it's definitely going to be unique.
Is it not in the rules for it in Book 7?
Well, Ahriman's just got a power axe. In the leak I saw from Book 7, Ahriman just has a power axe.
Because isn't Book 7 out now?
It is, but from when I got the first images of Book 7, I haven't had a chance. I think Book 7 was out of stock when I went looking for it.
Okay.
Basically, Ahriman has a power axe.
What should I arm my Land Raider with?
Is it a base? What box have you got? Is it a basic raider, or have you got a Crusader box?
I think it's just a basic box. So it's just all...
In which case, you have no choice.
Just go Godhammer.
So, Laz, that's the only choice you're going to have if you've got the basic one.
Fair enough.
If you're playing it for 30k, stick it to the back and just use it as a... There's two ways to run a Land Raider in 30k. Run a bunch of them, or just kind of hide with it and use it to snipe things.
Yeah, my logic was either gun platform or Primarch delivery system, one of the two.
I mean, this...
Because I've jumped,
Spartan,
so it's fine.
The Land Raider is kind of pointless.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I was also debating about getting some Night Raptors with chain glaives, because apparently...
You'll need some jump infantry at some point, because Kurz is jump infantry.
Oh.
Yeah, he's fast.
Get yourself a couple of destroyer squads.
Which ones are the destroyers again? Remind me.
They're the twin
pistols with jump packs.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was what me and my friend play tested some 30k. I played Night Lords, he played Alpha Legion. We had a Primarch fight, and I think I ran the destroyers, or I ran just an assault squad, one of the two.
Will the destroyers be a better choice than the Night Raptors?
No.
Especially if you give the Night Raptors chain glaives, which is
Depends
supposed
what
to
you
be
want
able to
them
wreck
to do.
everything.
You need them... If you want to go cheap, go the destroyers. If you want to go
if you want some
efficient...
Kurz,
just remember that he will be targeted and they will try to annihilate him turn 1.
Yeah, because if you're wanting something to guard Kurz, I mean, Kurz can do both things with Mercy and Forgiveness. He can, with his Shuriken, is it Shuriken he's got, or whatever it is? His range is not terrible, or whatever they are. His ranged weapons are not terrible, so if you want to put destroyers in and have a fast-running escort, maybe even a jump pack toting Moritat as company, to sort of shadow him. I don't think you can join up, but to shadow him. Alternately, you can run Kurz on his own and try and hide him behind cover, or give him
behind your Land Raider.
Or something like that, or give him the Raptor squad and say, right, Hail Mary, this is a Death Star. If your opponent kills it, then tough shit, but you probably won't. Because Primarchs are practically immortal.
No, they're not. I usually kill them turn 1. Primarchs are one of the easier things in 30k to deal with.
Well, didn't any of you guys see when Games Workshop had their staff tournament and Duncan posted the pictures on his Twitter about how his Perturabo got taken down by squats?
Ha! That's awesome. No, but the easiest
in close combat.
The easiest way to deal with Primarchs is simply a tactical support squad of 10 with all plasma guns.
And that's why you have Bubble Wrap.
Even then, they'll rip right through it.
Yeah, but if you can keep them out of double tap range, then they've just halved their effectiveness instantly, and all of a sudden I don't think... Or you can mathematically do it, but... And that's why you have Bubble Wrap. I know how to Bubble Wrap.
Oh, that's fine.
I have no idea what you're talking about in regards to
basically, you create protective rings around your target of opportunity. So, for example, if it's a drop pod unit with, let's say, I'll go with Melter because Melter's short range is easier for the example. You basically say, you want to land near my Land Raider? No, not Land Raider. My tank that doesn't have ceramite plating? No, you don't. I'm going to put a squad around it. on both sides and in front of it. I'm going to use the board edge as cover behind me. That way you have to land more than 12 inches away and you're out of range. Or something. That's what I call bubble wrapping.
Okay. How do you deal with tank shock then?
You have infantry that is as fast as your tank most of the time. And in Primarch cases, they're almost all infantry anyway.
Because my other strategy is rock up 3 Land Raiders filled with tactical support squads and just tank shock through bubble wraps.
Yeah, that's going to take you at least 3 turns to do. Assuming I haven't.
Take board edge, move 12, yeah, 2 turns.
2 turns to get to my
and then third
deployment
turn
zone.
jump out. Unless you destroy my Land Raider the turn before, in which case it's actually better for me. Because I could charge you and destroy what I need to destroy. Or a couple of Scorpiuses take out bubble wraps very easy.
Yeah, okay, that was just dealing with one thing. And yeah, you're a genius, you know how to deal with everything, and I don't. Fine. But
no, I'm just saying, bubble wraps in 30k, like, they're meh. I tend to play more like a corn player. I tend to rocket right towards my opponent and try to kill as many things as possible and then worry about the objectives later on in the game.
Okay, so here's a question then. If you say Primarchs are stupidly easy to take out because they're easy to hard counter, you can deal with bubble wrap or you just drop pod or whatever, fine. Then what's the point in taking a Primarch at all if they're just an easy one-shot?
Because they're cool, and the rule of cool states that you bring them.
And thinking practically for a split second?
I've never actually faced one in a tournament.
Yeah, that says a lot.
I mean, there are just better things than them to take that are cheaper and more effective. Unfortunately, the thing that I keep running into in tournaments that I'm having a hard time dealing with are quad mortars. Lots and lots of quad mortars.
Yeah, everyone hates stud guns.
That's why I switched to plasma support squads with drop pods to try to deal with them. Or the Death Guard flamethrowers work too.
Munitions are pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. Although it still sucked that one day I was super salty. I went up against a guy and I found out what quad guns were for the first time ever. I was like, oh, artillery pieces. Are they like the Thunderfire cannon? Yes, they are just like the Thunderfire cannon. No, they're not. They are not like Thunderfire cannons. They make me cry.
Yeah.
And the guy killed 9 of them.
Ooh.
Needless to say, the game was over turn 3.
And I think that will... Obviously, 30k is getting its own rulebook that will be tailored to suiting 30k. It will. But this is the problem 6th and 7th have historically always had, and why 8th needs to sort it, is that if an army is just set up properly, there are just some builds that are unstoppable. And the only way to beat them is to basically spam the same thing or develop a hard counter, which doesn't beat anything else. And that's the problem that 7th had, is that just some armies were just too good. Not just like their codex was too strong, but some units just were too good. And they just made the game completely unfair and unenjoyable for everybody else.
Looking at you, Eldar.
And also invisible Death Stars or rerollable 2+.
Eldar.
Rerollable 2+ save Death Stars that can fly. I'm looking at you, demons.
Dun 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 dun. Sorry.
It was the flying circus rather than anything else, but yeah. There were problems in 7th, and I do worry that if Thud Guns don't get nerfed, and Primarchs, I don't think Primarchs need a buff because they're Primarchs and they've got to stop somewhere. But if it comes to the point where certain things are just too powerful, and I really hope the Forge World stay on top of it, it will just not be fun, and people will just be like, well, this isn't fun because I go to a tournament, everyone has Thud Guns, and that's just boring.
I fucking hate Thud Guns.
Exactly. This is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
That if they're so universally reviled that we can't have that if we want 30k to do well. Well, more well.
Wella.
It sounds like a word I would use.
So, shall we move on now?
Yep.
I have nothing else to add.
Nope, nothing else I can add.
Hang on. Finishing a Terminator. I have a lot of painting to catch up on. So, questions. Questions are fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Most of the time.
Okay. Question. Would you three sign... Wait, what? Would you three sign the theme of... I think he meant to say sing. Would you three sing the theme of The Emperor Had Texas Teach Device together?
No.
I would. I definitely would. I know me and Remleiz will probably do that in a live stream together.
Yes, we will.
Do Gork and Mork have demons?
Not that we know of, unless you want to count. Like, they seem to have avatars, or they can. It depends what you believe about Gazkul, but he's not a demon of Gork and Mork. He's just their prophet, so to speak.
No, because really the only thing about Gork and Mork are Gork and Mork themselves, because everything else, like, cyclically generated from the orcs, is not warp-based.
It's war energy, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yet it can still affect the Immaterium.
So do the Tyranids, and they're projecting something into the warp to fuck it up, so...
Yeah, like themselves. Looking at you, Leviathan. That story is so much fun. Where's our fire support? Sorry, he put it all caps with multiple exclamation points. I had to yell it.
Was that the Colonel?
No.
Oh. In that case, he doesn't deserve our fire support.
His fire support's already been killed by an infiltrating Pathfinder team.
That was actually Alfarius.
To Commander Bar Fight. I think this one's to you, Michael.
Fine.
I like the name Commander Bar Fight. That actually sounds kind of cool.
I won't be using
it. Impact of the warp rift on the galaxy. Are the Tau going to start looking for ways to combat chaos, or are they just going to pretend it doesn't exist? Hashtag high fleet sex.
Okay, short answer. Considering they just lost an entire sphere of expansion in the warp, they can't pretend it doesn't exist anymore. As to what
the Fears will probably try and make a spin on it. Okay, nothing happened. It's just as planned. They've gone on holiday. Yes, that's it.
As to what they're going to do about it, I don't know. Because unless they can salvage stuff like the Talismans of Arthas Malok, or, I don't know, properly get navigators, like maybe inbreed a navigator gene, or use human pilots, there's not much they can do about it for dealing with demons. Dealing with Chaos Marines, they'll deal the same way as they deal with Space Marines. Dealing with demons, don't know.
If Logar is a little bitch, how come he can take 2 shots from a Warhound Titan plasma weapon while digging to find Angron and Ferrus Manus, get hit by one... Yeah, how could he survive all of that?
2 words. Plot, armor.
Yeah, it was...
Because the Warhound Titan was an even bigger bitch.
And can we also point out, Logar took the shots to the face, but Angron physically caught the Titan. Held it stepped on, right? Yeah, he was stepped on and just caught it. And like held it up.
One of the beasts in the Beast Arising series also tackled a Warhound. It's not related, I just thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
Also, if you want to read some really good Titan lore, there's one chapter in the Masters of Mankind where a Titan faces off against 2 other Titans, and it's glorious.
Well, they've actually just released a new book called Warlord, which is about a Warlord Titan. And there's a bunch of good Titan stuff in Hell's Reach as well, with the Imperator class and Godbreaker.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
Let's not forget the Titan graphic novel called Titan.
Oh, yeah.
And
Will Sanguinius's DNA be eaten by Tyranids, creating a masterful golden hive tyrant with glorious flowing locks?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Thanks, Kabanda.
Well, that's only one tendril.
It was the one in the Baal system.
Yep. There's more coming. Will you get Alpha and Kitten together?
One day.
Yeah,
hopefully.
That's pretty much the question. If the Emperor told Magnus that he wants him to be the battery for the throne to power up the Wedway, would Magnus want to, or would he be like, fuck that?
Are we talking?
What do you mean you want me to be a battery?
If he asked him actually, that's a really interesting question. Like, if Magnus had been told of the Golden Throne's existence and how it functioned, I get the feeling that considering the amount he could learn from basically projecting his soul into the webway and possibly even finding the library, he might have got along with it, you know.
But we know the Emperor's just a shit dad, though, and so of course he kept it secret because he just doesn't trust any of his sons.
Also, can I just point out that Mortarion snuck into the Golden Throne Room? Mortarion snuck into the Golden Throne Room.
How the hell does someone that smelly sneak around? You'd smell him a mile away.
I think he found the Golden Throne by sneaking around in the Imperial Palace, and Malcador had to basically stop him basically destroying it, or flipping his shit about it.
You can just imagine, Mortarion sneaking around and Color Custo standing there, do you just shit yourself?
I'm actually imagining him in, the fucking ventilation shaft, but all you hear is and they're just like, what is going on with the AC? It smells horrible.
Flies buzzing around.
I don't think there were any flies around.
That sneaking thing was before he fell to chaos.
It was. It was during the Great Crusade. It was before Nicaea, even. God.
Is it dangerous to copulate with a psyker?
Probably.
Yes. There you go.
Just yes. Sorry, I was reading your question. That one was dumb, so I'm not going to read it. Do you think the Emperor started to care more about his sons after the death of Old Man Sanguinius?
No.
Well, the time period between the death of Sanguinius and the death of the Emperor was about 10 minutes. So...
Yeah.
No, the answer is... It's like Rogodon picks him up and it's like, my son, yes, father. I'm so disappointed in all of you. It's like, no, father.
What units do you think it will be in the Death Guard half of the box set? Well, we've already seen the box set,
We've seen that now. Yeah.
Sorry. What happens to the Space Marine recruits that don't make it?
They get turned into chapter serfs. Not servitors, chapter serfs.
Well,
that will vary.
In the Dark Angels, they turn to servitors.
In the Crimson Fist and the Ultramarines, it's serfs, but it will vary from chapter to chapter.
Yeah. The Dark Angels are just really mean.
In the Space Wolves case, they turn into Wolfen.
Or just die.
Or they either die or go feral, yeah.
Are there demons that are actually kind of cool to be around? Besides Alexis and the Emperor's demons, of course. Thank you for including me.
Probably not.
Well, it depends on which god they believe in. I mean, if you can somehow get demons of Isha, maybe.
Well, you could also run into freaking demons of Slaanesh that just want to paint all day.
Or cook. Maybe, at this point, Gordon Ramsay's actually a demon prince of Slaanesh. He wants perfection in his food. And he wants to know where the lamb sauce is.
Oh, okay. This might be the most important question ever asked on this podcast.
It's going to be a stupid question, and we're just going to facepalm at it.
Well, you are.
This is why I can never serve Zinj. Would Remleiz send images of his cyberdog if asked to send nids?
That's Michael banging his head, not me.
For fuck's sake. I saw that in the comments when it first came in. I was like, please, just don't find it.
Of course I found it.
Only if you raise a GoFundMe and it reaches over 50,000.
Damn. Anyway.
There you go.
They're going to hold you to that, you realise.
Okay, so I'm assuming
have to give me the money
question
first.
is bad English, so I'm going to try to translate it to what he's asking. Why don't servitors wear Terminator armor?
Do you know how expensive Terminator armor is and how rare it is and how little access the Mechanicus have to it?
Why would you give a servitor armor? It's disposable.
Well, I mean, giving a battle servitor some type of armor, I mean, that's just a unit in the...
It's got mechanical parts. That is the armor.
Yeah.
Yes, at the end of the day, anything that isn't a tech priest in the Mechanicus is... Well, tech priest or a machine is disposable.
Do you think GW will ever say how the Ethereals control the Tau?
Well, actually, I was thinking about this yesterday. I didn't go to Warhammer Fest. I wanted to go, but it's the middle of exam season, so I couldn't really risk it. And I wish I had a chance to go and speak to one of the lore writers and say, your universe is fantastic. It's really fantastic, but could you please give us some more world building on the not Imperials, please? Because we know so much about how the Imperial citizenry lives on hive worlds and other types of Imperial planets. We know how it goes. We've had loads of fluff on it, but we don't know what life on a craft world is really like. We know a little bit about Comora. We don't know what it's like in the Tau Empire. We don't know what it's like.
I mean, have you played the Fire Warrior game?
No.
Oh, the Tau Demon Champion of Khorne.
Did you know that's the same character that appears in the Dawn of War series?
Yeah, okay.
I did not know that. I was so surprised by that. Anyway.
Which means if Dawn of War is canon, means Fire Warrior is canon.
It does.
And the fact that Gabriel Angelos now has a model means that Dawn of War is canon. Because if
But
Gabriel Angelos
stupidly
is...
massive head.
Yeah, because if Gabriel Angelos is canon, Gorguts is canon. Which means that's... Yeah. Oh,
which means that Azaria Kairos is canon, which means there's canon Khorne Psychers.
And canonically, Vect is dead.
Yes.
Following that train of thought, canonically, Vect is dead. Which he isn't.
Well, that might have just been...
Or is he? That's true. Well, don't forget, Dark Eldar, what do they do when they die? They have the homuncular resurrect them, don't they?
Yep.
If you get the body back fast enough, yes.
Okay. Question, mostly for Remleiz, but anyone can answer. Well, I'm glad you gave us that permission. I feel honored by that permission. Hypothetically, if Games Workshop and Blizzard teamed up, what happened? I could just stop reading this question right there. Teamed up to make a Warhammer-themed Overwatch-style game with... Yeah, no, stop it.
I would rather see a Primarch-themed version of Mortal Kombat, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh god, the fatalities.
Yes.
Question for Alexis. A goofy crossover of the EDF, the goofy one with the giant insects, series and Warhammer 40k, yes or no? I don't know what EDF is. I think that's that anime with the monster girls.
No idea.
And if so, that would be a Slanesh thing, so sure, why not? Necrons were on Cadia at the fall. Some Necrons can manipulate time. So how is it that... So is that how Cadia still exists? Well, Cadia was surface bombed by a freaking giant spaceship colliding into it and cracked. It is still there, but it's in pieces now.
It's fucked.
But I think when they did the Cadian campaign, it's actually the system of Cadia and not the planet itself.
Yeah,
but the planet
I think
itself does have fortress monasteries the size of the rock that could have actually survived the planetary explosion.
Guess what, guys? Primaris Marines are on the way. Cue the salty fan base.
Oh my god. Freaking the devastation of Baal. Don't worry, Gilliman's here to save everything. Oh, we fucked. These are Tyranids. You guys gotta watch my lore video on that. It is amazing.
I'm sure it is.
Sure.
Oh, you guys are just mean, you know that?
I was saying a compliment.
You guys are mean. I see how it is.
Just because we have the traditional British cynicism.
Yeah, see, this is why we fight each other.
No, it's because you can't take jokes and deal with sarcasm.
That may be true. I was actually talking more about it in character. But yeah. How many man-hours does the recruiting, training, and equipment of a Guardsman, Skitarii, Imperial Knights, Astartes, Custodes, insert profession, take from the...
Astartes takes 10 years.
Guardsman takes, 15 hours?
That's how long they live after their first deployment.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, recruitment for... I've just done a bit on the Death Corps, and they start at birth, so it will vary from planet to planet. I mean, Acadian who... Actually, wasn't there a quote? Acadian who can't field strip his own lasgun by the age of 8 was born on the wrong planet.
Wow.
I've seen that quote.
And also on Catachan, babies are taught to shoot straight before they can walk.
Yes, it will very much vary planet to planet, regiment to regiment, and group to group.
Are you saying that about a death core? Before we answer that question, I was going to say, in regards to the death core thing, Michael, that you said like they're conscripted from birth. I'm just imagining this baby's been born, like, well, you're in the guard now, son.
No time for crying. Kill this enemy with your bare hands. Do it with your umbilical cord now.
I mean, they have a eugenics program and basically indoctrination, so I wouldn't even be shocked.
Slaanesh loves that planet. You're the one that gave me that, Michael. Don't even try.
I suggested that Slaanesh may have been involved in the fall of Krieg, not with the Death Corps.
Anyway, have the 10,000 restocked.
Who are the 10,000?
Got the custodians.
Sorry. In which case, almost certainly. They've had 10,000 years to do it.
Can the Inquisition order exterminatus upon Holy Terra? No.
Well, they could try, but they'll probably get killed. They could try.
What is the overall energy production of the Imperium? I'm not even going to try to get into that. It's a fictional universe.
A multiple of ass loads.
Billions of planets. A lot.
Okay, I'm just going to move on because he has a lot of really crazy questions. And now I have motorcycles outside.
It's fine.
Okay, let's see.
The cult of speed is real.
What would it take to bring Magnus back?
As in back to loyalty?
I probably back to the lore again because he's kind of dealt with.
Well, he's just stuck in the webway though, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's got to find a way out the webway.
He's Magnus the fucking Red. He'll get out.
I just realised, now Magnus is stuck in the webway, he can go, oh, I'm here, I can go look for the fucking Black Library now.
No, he's trapped in a dead end on the webway.
He can break out Magnus the Red.
A dead end does not necessitate a box. He just has to turn around and walk in the other direction until he finds another corner.
Yeah, they kind of wrote him into a box.
In which case, he's Magnus the fucking Red.
He'll just teleport out somewhere. Or just fade back into warp space.
Apparently he can't.
How?
I don't know. Bad writing?
I'll go by that, because Magnus the strongest... one of the strongest psychics to ever exist.
He is the
fully amplified by the god of magic himself.
Yeah, the second most powerful human psychic in history, with the power of Tzeentch behind him. No, to quote, no pathetic box can hold me like this. Particularly not an Eldar box.
No.
Sorry, I lost my place on the questions. Alright, here we are. What would it take to get Magnus back? I mean, to be honest, I have a feeling that somebody is going to break him out of the webway anyway. Somebody preferably named Cypher.
Well, Mortarian's bad. Maybe Mortarian does it.
I think Mortarian hates Magnus.
But don't forget, though...
Mortarian fucking hates him.
And that's the point as well, because it's Nurgle and Tzeentch.
Yeah, Nurgle hates Tzeentch, and Mortarian hated Magnus anyway. Mortarian was doing no favour.
Maybe it'll be Fulgrim.
Maybe Fulgrim.
Considering the fact that Eldar involved as well. Slaanesh,
It makes sense because you could quite easily say that Fulgrim psychically communicates with Magnus, and they sort of say, I'll get you out if you get me somewhere else, and then we'll fuck up the Eldar. Or something like that.
Yes, we'll go and play a children's card game.
What is the silliest 40k rumor you've ever heard?
Probably that one that said, like, all the Primaris Marines will all be female. I heard that one.
I could see some of them being female, not all of them.
No, it's biologically... I looked this up. I've just done a video I've made a video about gene seed. It's genetically set up. The genetic composition of the human must be male.
Why?
I'm not a biologist. That's just what the law said on Lexicanum.
I can only go biology. I looked at all the sources. There's a source from 1998. 1998 is the only source that actually says they must be male based on some bullshit. So I looked into it. An organ transplant from female to male is completely possible. There is no justification for saying that a space marine cannot be female. And
plus, it was something to do with hormone. If it's hormonal, then there's hormonal supplements or artificial hormone the Mechanicus could create.
I can only say that's what one piece of law says, and we've had no evidence to the contrary. That's all I can say.
But it's been rewritten 7 times since then.
Sorry.
I actually have 5 books in front of me that show.
I'm aware. Yeah. I'm aware you've denounced this. I'm just saying that that's what the law I found said.
Yeah, and it's from a white dwarf. Yeah. Anyway. Advice for making an OC. Just do it.
No, Gary. Don't get too ridiculous.
Don't marry C yourself.
Is a squat army even remotely possible? Yes. They exist in 30k.
Just, if you want to make one for 40k, just base it around the Imperial Guard.
Yeah, that's all you have to do.
Yeah, easy.
The Lexiconum said that the Space Wolves view themselves as the ultimate weapon, and while the Ultramarines forge empires, the Wolves are the destroyer. Would that imply that the Space Wolves are capable of beating the Ultramarines, and why do the Space Wolves have far more superior armor than the Space Marines?
Okay, in terms of frontline combat, the Space Wolves would probably kick the Ultramarines' ass in a straight fight. But in regards to tactics, the Ultramarines will probably beat the shit out of them in that regard. Because the Ultramarines were essentially the jack of all trades legion. They basically can do. There's no specializations whatsoever. They're sent to basically be all rounders. When you've got things like the World Eaters and the Space Wolves being frontline shock assault troops, you got the Raven Guard and Alpha Legion being espionage.
Yeah, and you also have to consider the fact that if the Space Wolves could, let's pick a world at random here, hit. Not Calf, that's dead. Konor, I don't know, that's a world in Ultramar, I know that exists. They could hit that and absolutely smash the Ultramarines on that planet. But the Ultramar Empire is vast, and the resources that even without Guilliman, the Ultramar Empire could call on, they could just attrition the Space Wolves down, in a way. Almost just like, we have more resources to throw at this, we will just outlast you and bring you down through attrition. Never mind the fact that
after the Wrath of Magnus, Space Wolves don't have the numbers to compete with the Ultramarines.
Yeah, now that the Ultramarines actually have a Primarch in their wrist.
I'm not even counting Guilliman or Magnus's intervention in the equation here. I'm saying full strength v full strength, Logan v Calgar. Never mind the fact that Calgar could outthink Logan 6 ways to Sunday, and most captains could outthink most Wolflords 6 ways to Sunday. They just have
a bug.
They have more resources available to them. They will just win. Slowly.
Plus, the Ultramarines have Cato Sicarius, who is the Mary Sue of Mary Sue's.
That you cannot forget. You mentioned that the Traitor Gene Seeds is in a vault. So could these new Space Marines be made, essentially, from them?
Potentially.
Yes, if the time lock's broken, yes.
Yep. That's an easy one. Whatever happened to the Whispers of Heresy?
Oh, that was a series I did long ago. It just kind of fizzled out. I might touch up again in future, but it kind of got replaced by this podcast. So,
all right, fine. We'll give up on the podcast.
No, I enjoy the podcast.
Okay, fine. Is it the witty banter between me and Michael?
Of course it is.
Yay.
And the amount of fan fiction it generates.
God damn it. Okay. Could a mortal learn the respect or even friendship of a demon? Friendship with a demon is that's a tough one.
Respect, maybe.
Respect, most definitely.
It'd be easier to earn respect than earn friendship.
Yeah.
I don't even know if demons are capable of making friends.
I mean, if it's a demon of Slaanesh.
Well, Argortal did. Well, the demon inside him and Argortal were quite close, actually.
Also, does it differ from god to god? Like, could you earn the respect of a demon of Khorne through being an extensive warrior, whereas a Slaanesh wouldn't care?
Let's put it this way. If you're fighting a demon of Khorne and you absolutely beat the living shit out of it in a punch-up, then the Khorne demons will be like, you know what? I like you.
Yeah, Source, Tuska the Demon Killer.
Yeah, I'll have a word with Khorne, see if we can save you a spot in the Brass Citadel when we're done.
Where are the Blood Ravens situated in
the
galaxy?
Do they even have a homeworld?
It's Aurelian system. Because the Aurelian Crusade was basically them saving their recruiting worlds.
Okay, there's your answer then.
How big is Alexis's ego, really? Well, it was contained in the warp until it exploded.
The warp didn't explode, but sure.
I was going to make a very, very rude joke there, but I thought best not.
I want to hear it. I definitely want to hear this.
It was just so like, how big is Alexis's ego? About 8 inches.
All right, we're done. That's a good one. Oh my god. Can you explain Cast How a bit?
Okay. Short answer, we don't know. Long answer, we don't know what happens when Tau get exposed to the warp very much because they've never been exposed to the warp at all. It could be mutation, it could be possession, it could just be straight up corruption. We honestly have no idea what's going to happen and if it's even going to happen at all.
Well, if you take Fire Warrior into account, the guy ended up being, essentially the novelization of Fire Warrior, the guy was a Khorne champion Tau.
Well, you can still because
Khorne was guiding his actions. Khorne was guiding the Tau's actions. Because the main chaos within that was Tzeentch. So, it depends if you want to take that as canon or not, though.
Oh, this is a good question for Michael. Can you do Alexis's intro?
I was about to ask, is it my definition of good or your definition of good? It was your definition of good. The answer's no.
Michael, you do realize we're going to get to ask this question every week. Just get it over and done with and people will stop asking.
Running joke.
Just do it.
Running joke, it's fine.
Just do it!
Anyway.
No.
Question for Remleiz. Who is your favorite character on board the Lost Light?
Ooh, I need to catch up with...
Oh, it's a spaceship, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's from Transformers, the IDW comic series. I really enjoyed how they made Ultra Magnus just so serious, and the fact that he got infected with his little nanobots, and it's like he had to smile to stop them, and that became a running joke. That was amusing. That was quite a while ago now. I still need to catch up after that bit where they found out Brainstorm was a traitor. I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, spoilers. Even though it's several years old now, but still.
Okay, I'm not going to ask this question, but I kind of want it to be asked, so I'm going to copy and paste it to you guys to ask at the end.
At the end or now?
Yeah. One sec. I'm going to send it to you guys.
At the end or now? Yeah.
Anyway. I don't need to explain myself. Oh, god damn it, it went all the way back up to 1. Why did it go up to 1? I should just copy and paste these into a freaking,
Since I know Alexis should have a copy of Jodorowsky's The Metabarons, if no name the last of the Metabarons went up against each of the Primarchs in a one-on-one battle, could he beat them all? How would he fare against the Emperor? Hashtag Alexis X Magnus.
Yeah, that's the last part. I hate that last part.
It generated quite a bit of fan art.
Yep.
With Magnus going, here's why I keep my Alexis X Magnus fanfiction.
We're not going to talk about this.
It was so amusing. Because it all stemmed from a conversation about
cheese. We're
cheese.
not talking about this.
It all extended from a conversation about cheese. Pepper Jack Master Race.
Uncultured swine.
Hey, it's not my fault you don't know good cheese. I mean, Michael does. He plays Tau.
Well played.
Yay.
Moving on. If Alexis hasn't lost the questions.
No,
again.
It for some reason jumped around quite a bit, and yeah.
It jumped up to get down.
Question. If more humans believed in the Legion of the Damned, would they become more active?
If you believe they're demons, in theory, no, actually. No. Because it's belief in the god rather than in the demon itself, right?
I am not sure how the Legion of the Damned actually operate, and we do need more fluff on them.
Yeah, we need to know if they're actually demons to start with.
Well, it was sort of heavily hinted at that they are demons in the Gathering Storm books.
in everything, it's heavily hinted to the fact they come out of the warp, they disappear, into the warp when they die. Yeah, like demons when they die.
And when they activated the pylon, they were banished along with the other demons.
And Celestine got weakened immensely.
Yep. Yeah, I kind of heavily implied that they are demons, but I guess it would be like the god of law and order, which would be the emperor sort of deal, right? Yeah.
The god of humanity.
Many don't like the Space Marines, etc., but doesn't it make sense story-wise that Guilliman would do that for starting Crusade?
I mean, it happened.
I was talking about the Primaris.
Yeah.
I think they are talking about Primaris.
Yeah, the fact that Primaris have happened makes, in a plot sense, a lot of sense.
Well,
the question
Oh, go ahead.
The question, actually, that I think I had is, why has it... Oh, I think I have an answer for it, but I want to clarify with you, is why didn't Cole just do it? Anyway, he was tasked by Guilliman with creating the Primaris 10,000 years ago, was he not?
Yes.
He was, yes. I think it's something more to do with the fact that because this project was authorized by a Primarch and could probably only continue with a Primarch's supervision or constant updating, because, being the Emperor's son and that. And as he said in that Gathering Storm video, it was like, it's been put on hold for 10,000 years while the galaxy burns. So it's probably because, the High Lords of Terra turned around and said to the Adeptus Mechanicus, look, we got all this shit to deal with. Can we just focus on this for a minute, please?
What if they were under a time lock
coming
also?
Through and stuff?
It's possible that the project was time locked, but it just seems odd that if, let's say, Cole finished it, let's say he just kept working on it on weekends, and he finished it in like M39.
He was painting his armies. Give him a break.
But yeah, did it need like Guilliman to? Was it required that Guilliman was there to complete it, or was it just to sign it off? Or
it's probably something to do with more bureaucracy more than anything else. Like, we got these super space marines, and the High Lords Terror be like, I don't know. Last time we tried something, it got pretty messy. No, I don't. No, computer says no.
Also, techno heresy, perhaps, without a Primarch's personal seal.
Yeah.
With the warp spreading all over the galaxy, are things getting worse? Yes.
Yes.
With the
it's a grim dark future. It's always getting worse.
Be best described as tumors. Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Not a terrible analogy.
Would Khorne and Slaanesh have... I'm going to stop that question.
Yes, please.
Well, it's that bad that you have to stop it, Jesus.
I don't like blood. It's gross.
It's not a weird question about...
Here's a good one. Here's a question I actually like. Can Space Marines become Grey Knights?
No. No is the short answer.
I don't know. If they become Master Psychers...
No, you can't promote... Well, the Space Marines are not supposed to know the Grey Knights exist, for one.
True.
Two, the training a Grey Knight goes through is so...
more intense.
Yeah, it's so different. Like, they make you forget your own damn identity to become a Grey Knight. They'll mind wipe you. Well, sort of, to make you become a Grey Knight. And they have to do it when you're at recruiting age. Yeah, as a child. You can't take a Master Psyker out, let's say Tigurius for a second. They could just secretly abduct Tigurius and turn him into a Grey Knight. No.
But he can become an Inquisitor.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah, that's different, but becoming a Grey Knight? No. Which
I think
raises
they could possibly become an Inquisitor and work with the Grey Knights, but not a Grey Knight themselves.
It would have to be an Inquisitor of the Order of Malleus.
Yeah, you have to become a Malleus Inquisitor, which, considering that the rest of the galaxy is supposed to know... Well, they sort of know the Inquisition exists, but they don't know that Malleus exists. And they like it that way.
I like this question. This one's good. If the Chaos Gods are so powerful, then why don't they get shit done for themselves, like Slaanesh did back in the day?
It's because they're too busy pissing each other off. They're playing the great game. They're just winding each other up. They're more focused on each other. It's called the Great Game, after all, so...
Yeah, and the fact that you notice as well with the Primarchs is that after they ascended, they turned their attention to the affairs of the warp. It's more entertaining for the gods in the warp, and they'll only turn their attention to the material realm either if they're bored or if there's something that really demands their attention right now.
Like Gilman waking up.
Or the Emperor. Yeah.
Are Space Wolves, example, Ragnar Blackmane? Sorry.
Yeah.
Ragnar Blackmane and Locus... They spelled it
Lucas.
wrong.
Lucas
the Trickster. The only Space Marines who got laid. Now, I'm assuming they mean loyal Space Marines.
Well, probably not, because... Well, that being said, however, because there have been other Space Marines who were created after the gene seed implantation age. You know, most notable examples include Luther and Cor Theron.
Yep.
So there's probably a few other ones of these ones, Space Marines who were recruited at a much older age and had to go undergo surgery to become Astartes, even though they might not necessarily be true Astartes. But those ones would have gone laid regardless.
That'll only apply in the Crusade era, though.
Well, no, because Lucas the Trickster as well. Before he was recruited, he bedded a dozen women in a single night.
Oh yeah.
And he must have been, at least at puberty age, because let's be honest, it's going to be hard for a 10-year-old boy to bed a dozen women in a single night.
Well, the first round of gene seed implantation, on average, is supposed to take place around, by the age of 14. By 14.
I thought it was earlier than that.
Well, it says they recruited around 10, but they must have... the latest they can have, the secondary heart, the Osmodulate, and the Biscopia, is 14. According to what I found.
If you're a Dark Angel. They recruit old men. I'm not kidding about that either. That's canon.
Why would you recruit an old man?
I don't know, but we both know the source I'm talking about.
You two do.
What source are you talking about? I have no idea.
The comic, Will of Iron.
Oh! Oh, yeah, because it's got that female Inquisitor in the Terminator armor.
Yep.
Which caused a lot of people to be even salty about that.
Oh, God, yes. And it
I didn't even notice.
That carapaces are universal. Like, they have a universal carapace for people. And she is ridiculously good in her Terminator armor, to the point where she can keep up with Eldar Harlequins.
The Raven Guard and Corvus pattern armor could outmaneuver the Eldar, so it's...
the Harlequins could outmaneuver the Custodes and slay several. One just killed several Custodes in one go.
Oh.
Yeah, she was outmaneuvering them.
Oh.
In fairness, though, since most Inquisitors are psychic, she was probably using her psychic abilities to augment her speed and reflexes.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
It goes without saying.
Question: if a Primarch like Mortarion, Corax, Khan, Ferrus Manus, Logar, and Lionel Johnson return, do you think they will be more focused than on the Horus Heresy? Interesting word.
It depends what happened to them. I mean, for we know, they could just end up being more batshit insane, or nothing changed at all in their personality. Like Khan could be simply just wanting to go fight. He comes out of the webway, stealing a whole bunch of Eldar Reaver jet bikes.
Yeah, or it could... Yeah, and whereas you look at Corax, who's been trying to basically seemingly martyr himself for 10,000 years. I could be wrong on what he's actually been doing, but that's my best guess. He's been trying to martyr himself for 10,000 years.
Speaking of Corax, I remember seeing a funny thing the other day. Someone out said, I always mix up Corax and Kurz. And I said, well, the easy way to tell them apart is that Corax is emo and Kurz is goth.
That is incredibly true.
That is incredibly true, but for some people, not incredibly helpful.
It's incredibly helpful.
For those who know, yes.
Anyway.
Also, that was the last question.
Bloody hell.
That was very quick.
I skipped over a few that, meh.
Fair enough.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah, if you do want to leave us a question for next time, then leave it in the comments with the word question, and we'll try to answer it next time.
Indeed. And try to keep them tasteful.
Yes, because it will be Remleiz reading them, and he's probably got a little bit more taste than Alexis does.
Hey! Wow!
In terms of picking appropriate to ask questions, anyway.
I picked completely appropriate to ask questions.
You asked me if I were to get my Cyberdong out.
I did not ask that. Somebody else did.
You read the question asking that.
I don't remember such a thing. You have no proof.
I have it on tape.
I don't.
I was going to say, this is going on YouTube. This is going on YouTube.
You're going on YouTube.
Everyone's going on YouTube.
Dear, oh dear. So,
we're professionals, don't worry.
Yeah, so it seems to be in that.
Applying from a sticky note. Remember when we said how much we had planned in advance, and Alexis said she had a sticky notes worth of topics planned?
Oh yeah.
Hey, my sticky notes are massive.
I'm on 8 pages.
To be fair, I'm kind of I need to rebuild my backlog. I've been burning through it for exam period, but I'm still, in terms of the planning, I'm still about 10 weeks ahead.
I'm about 4 years.
I don't know how.
Check my sticky note. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15? 15
minutes.
Weeks ahead?
Faz?
I've been planning.
Not as much as me.
Well, that's because you're dumb.
I'm dumb for planning everything out in advance.
Yeah, I mean,
Fail to plan, plan to fail.
See, you just gotta do things. This is why Slaanesh is the best god. Just do what you will. Planning is for dumb people.
Does this mean that Shia LaBeouf is a worshipper of Slaanesh by saying just do it?
Yes. He would almost be a champion if he wasn't an SJW. But anyway.
Let's not go there. So, I suppose this is the part where normally we'd have a rant about something.
I already did my rant.
About.
Wait, no. I got one. Hive Fleet Leviathan is not destroyed. You can't just destroy a Tyranid invasion. It hasn't even fully gotten into the galaxy yet.
Didn't they do that with Behemoth? They literally just flew a ship into it, activated the warp engines.
Behemoth, Jormungandr, Gorgon,
you can't
Kraken.
kill the full Tyranid invasion.
Colossus.
They're not in the galaxy fully yet.
Behemoth was?
No, one tendril
Colossus
of it was. The entire Hive Fleet needs to arrive before you ever have a chance of actually defeating it. The scary thing about it is that
Behemoth came first, all of it, and died on Ultramar, and they learned its lesson for Kraken, which then also pretty much died at the hands of Eandon, and then Leviathan learned the lessons from that, which is why it's so damn effective.
Yet there's more Tyranids, and since they're one hive mind, one tendril is not enough to kill the entire fleet.
A fleet is a fleet. A hive mind is a separate thing. A fleet is just a collection of ships. That collection of ships all died.
I think we should just call the greater mass of the Nids that aren't in the galaxy. Let's just call it the Tyrant Armada. So we can distinguish between fleet and armada. There you go.
That's true enough.
Yeah, because you can't say that Behemoth is still not here. It's been and gone.
Well, actually,
what's out there will not
the
be
entire thing at a whim.
Yeah, but it won't be. It might be the same genetic makeup of creatures, but it won't be classified as Hive Fleet Behemoth 2 or Hive Fleet Behemoth Returned. It will be a new Hive Fleet with a new classification.
Well, to the Imperials, yes.
Yes, but the Tyranids don't do classifications anyway, so...
Yeah, they do.
Well, they don't
Look
classify
at their organisms.
Yeah, tasty, crunchy, chewy.
Yeah, say, squishy. Thinking you know my buggies. I got paint all over my legs.
Well done. There was exasperation in that. Yeah, I don't have a rant per se. Oh, I don't want it to turn into a rant. We got a comment on, or I got a comment on one of my live streams. You'll know this comment, Alexis, the same one you got. You know the one I'm talking about.
No, this is from Darth Revan.
No, this is the one about the Primaris.
The one guy who unsubbed from us because we like the idea. Dude, fuck that guy.
Now, the point I want to make, I'm not going to call out, like, each to your own. If that's your opinion, that's fine. But they suggested, is part of a comment thread that went on under their comment, about a video talking about how we maybe give GW a bit of a free pass, and we need to try and be a bit more critical. Like, there are too many people who will just defend GW to death on their models or their lore or whatever. And
I see the exact opposite from loads of people. I see more people willing to criticize than to defend, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but particularly with I'm of the opinion that 8th edition wouldn't have been half as well received if it weren't for the constant communication we've had from GW, and the way it's been delivered has actually made a big difference. Yeah,
their social media team's actually been working really well and actually putting a lot of good-natured humor and stuff into things as well, which helps a lot.
Wendy's.
Yes, exactly.
But there was the reason I bring it up is that it's made me think, not like just because we have people who will attack GW no matter what they do. There will be people who will defend GW no matter what they do.
Me.
Those people exist, and what I think I was hoping to do, I wanted to record a video on this myself, but I never felt quite that I got it right, is that there's been an issue, particularly around the Primaris, of people just being a bit closed-minded and not willing to accept it. There's a section of the community who will just be of the impression that the Primaris suck and I am going to boycott GW over it.
Or here's an idea, just don't buy the Primaris and just go for the other stuff.
Or whatever, but some people are just so damn closed-minded on both sides. There were some people who were like, GW can do no damn wrong. I don't care if you don't like them, I like them, and fuck you if you don't. And I think there needs to be, sometimes, not just critique of their work, like the bare bones plot that we got in Gathering Storm in places, and sometimes the questionable design of a few models, although that has improved in recent times.
Yeah.
We just need to be willing to debate it, to see the other side. And this applies more generally. I know I'm trying not to sound political, given the fact that, well, there's an election going on in Britain right now.
I did not know that.
It's a pretty big deal. But yeah, there's an election going on right now. I'm trying not to sound political when I say this, but you're just going to be willing to listen to the other side. Consider every point. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that some of the plot behind the Primaris doesn't seem to be there, and I want to know more. And that's my critique. And some people will say, well, I don't like the way they look because X, Y, and Z. That's fine. It's just we've got to be willing to debate it, whether it's about the Primaris, about the plot, about the state of the game, whatever it happens to be, we've got to be willing to debate. And that's why this podcast is so good, because it's clear, quite often, we have different opinions on a lot of things.
No, we don't. We get along perfectly fine and reasonable.
We get along fine, but we have differing opinions on various topics. But we get over it and we openly debate it, and we get to an answer. Even if even if it's agree to disagree, we still come to a conclusion. We hash it out, and some people just won't do that. And that's, I think, something that needs to change. I love this community. This community is absolutely fucking amazing, but sometimes just stop being so close-minded, for God's sake.
I think I've summed it up pretty well.
Funny enough, I've not actually given my own opinion about the Primaris in any video. I seem to be the only person when the Primaris were first announced, like when I first showed it, who made a video who didn't just start bitching. Because I started thinking...
Bitch?
Yeah, I mean, I came on stream and I said, I'm willing to see what goes on, but I haven't really made my mind up yet. But
in regards to Primaris, the lore behind it, at the moment, I think it's a little weak, but I'm willing to see where it goes. And there's a lot of people say it goes against the lore, who seem to forget Corax did the exact same thing before Alpha Legion shenanigans.
Yeah.
I mean, the actual Primaris Marines, the tactical Marines, if you want to call them that, they look pretty cool. I'm not too keen on the design of the jump infantry. I think they look a little bit derpy. But
I can see that, yeah.
But at the same time, the models themselves look really nice, and I want to see more about them in regards to lore, just to see if they do actually indeed flesh it out a bit more, because I think it's needing to be fleshed out. And plus, we got that thing about how some chapters are accepting them with open arms, and some of them are really hesitant. This was something I was discussing with the text-to-speech crew the other day, in regards to, say, if you have a story where Primaris Marines were integrated into a chapter, but in turn end up causing a lot of friction and delve down into a chapter civil war between the regular studies and the Primaris. If that was written by the right person, that could be a really, really good story to tell. Especially if you balance it in a way so, both of them are being dicks. Not both of them are right in their own ways. It's both their faults. And then at the end of it, they come together to join forces against something like, say, the Nids come, about to eat them all, and they have to join forces and then earn each other's respect, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I do think that the Primaris will have... I'm going to roll out the people think that it's my catchphrase. They have their place.
It is your catchphrase.
It's
it
fine.
Has its place.
Yeah, the Primaris will slot into the lore and into the universe if handled correctly. They just have to be handled correctly. And the same goes for Gathering Storm. I think Gathering Storm, as an idea, and as what happened, was fine. Some of what it did was a little bit of a stretch, but I feel like they didn't handle it particularly well. It was very threadbare in place. It was just, this happened, then this happened, then this happened, and slow the fuck down and give me some context.
I respected Gathering Storm for the fact that initially they seemed to be very ballsy. It was like, okay, Abaddon's coming, KB is blown up. At times we all thought it was blown up. It's like, oh wow, so things are actually moving forward. The stakes are really high, and then everything just kind of, fell flat like a flower in the cupboard.
Yeah, basically, I think most people have an issue with... some people think Gathering Storm 2's plot was weak, but Gathering Storm 3, it didn't really... I didn't read it in full.
It felt rushed.
It felt rushed, and it felt like the stakes weren't as high as they should have been. Like, the fight with Magnus. We all knew Guilliman was going to survive.
Magnus was actually sad, even in my eyes. Because literally, Magnus was there, he was mindless, and got pushed by his brother into a portal, and they turned it off.
Never mind the actual what happened, it's the fact that we all knew that Guilliman was going to make it. There was no way they were going to go to all this hype of bring your Primarch back to kill him. And particularly when we saw that Abaddon wasn't in the Dramatis Personae, he was just not going to be there. All the tension was just gone. And then the Cypher thing went completely unresolved. Yes, we know what was going on later because we now know about the Primaris and the Indomitus Crusade. But at the time,
was just there.
Voldus was just there. Celestine was pretty much just there.
After book one, at least.
After book one, yeah. Celestine was just there as a plot device to make sure that the Eldar didn't kill each other.
Keep the peace.
Yeah, she was a walking peace device. Cypher was a plot hole. Voldus was just there. Guilliman had plot armor. It wasn't bad.
I would have preferred it if at the end there was a big epic showdown between Guilliman and Abaddon.
Yeah, I'd have just loved it.
If written right, that could have been absolutely amazing, because don't forget, Abaddon's also enhanced by the Chaos. He bears all 4 marks of Chaos. He could have been it could have been really awesome.
Or they could have... Or if, Magnus actually fought Guilliman in fair one-on-one combat while Celestine did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say,
or even the rumour of Cypher coming along and just shooting Abaddon in the face, execution style.
Yeah,
it's out of nowhere.
Yeah, the overarching plot of Gathering Storm, whilst big, I respect its plot arc. What it did, I respect that.
It was ballsy.
It was. Particularly early on, it was ballsy. But it just kind of fell flat and was a bit hollow toward the end, because it felt like the stakes weren't high enough. Guilliman's back, he's going to be fine, because he's fucking Robert Guilliman. And it just felt like the stakes weren't high enough for anybody, because Abaddon wasn't there. If Abaddon had been there, then people would just be like, oh shit, are they going to kill Abaddon off? But he wasn't.
Yeah.
No, and I hate it because they left it off stating he didn't join the next battle because of a wound, and the fleet fell flat because of lack of leadership. Then they released something like a few weeks later stating, "Oh, Abaddon's perfectly fine." It's like, no, just if he died in the first book, like if he actually took grievous wounds by Celestine, went aboard the Vengeful Spirit, and then fucking died, that would have been awesome. And in his death ascended to demonhood.
Yeah, and I would have given GW so much credit for having the guts to do that. They just,
especially as we need a new Abaddon model. We've had the same one since 1996.
Yeah, they had the balls to kill Cadia. Why not have... no one fucking died. No one.
The only one that came close was Kree, and he just got saved by Trazine at the end anyway.
Yeah, Kel died. Okay, Jaren Kel died. Who else died? Yeah, Flagbook Speaker Face.
Oh yeah, I know, but in regards to all named characters, he's basically the Who guy. The Magic just could have Voldus because Voldus did nothing. He was just like, I'm here too!
They didn't even...
Wasn't that the chapter master or whatever of the Grey Knights?
Chief Librarian.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm here.
But the moment Ivrain... Once we got Ivrain into the mix, they killed Prince Iriel. And then brought him back 5 minutes... And brought him back 5 minutes later.
Oh, by the way, you got a magic sword now. What? Okay.
Yeah,
like I said, it's a comic book. It's just literally the Marvel MCU.
Yeah, and like I say, I admire GW for doing what they did with Gathering Storm. I do. It was a ballsy idea, and in the right hands could have been really well put out, but it was just badly handled in places, and then just fell hollow. And hopefully, it doesn't continue on that route, because we know that. And I think this is the point of that video I went to watch on the recommendations. They said people gave Gathering Storm a bit of a free pass, because people forgot to consider GW is good at writing this shit. Look at the Heresy books and how good they are. Just the rule books and how well the lore is written in there. If GW had that standard in Gathering Storm, it would have been absolutely ridiculous.
Now, what if they
come out
with
the Black Library
a bunch of novels for the Gathering Storm series that properly explained them?
But we haven't got them yet.
We've got those audio dramas in regards to Ivrain, though.
And Greyfax.
And Greyfax, yes. But that's
they've gone completely under my radar. I didn't even know they'd come out.
Yeah, the one with Greyfax is actually pretty cool, because she actually has Mind Shackle Scarabs the entire time, and they get removed.
The funny thing is, I actually was going to theorize, and then you told me, it happens in the small audio drama. I was like, oh, fuck. Because I was thinking, well, hang on, Trazine let her out. Maybe she's under his control. Yes, she is. Fuck.
Yep. Yep.
That literally killed a really interesting idea for a video.
Although I did notice one thing. A lot of the audio dramas, like the strict audio dramas, are not on Lexiconum.
Some of them are referenced, but they're not as well referenced as the books, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of audio dramas, I remember actually getting into a argument with someone because someone said that Blood Quest wasn't canon. The actual comic from Warhammer Monthly from 1998.
But it is.
And it's like, but the Blood Quest storyline had the audio drama that came out in 2014. That's still relatively recent. So I'd say it's still canon for something from 1998. It's got a new chapter of the story in 2014.
Well, it's like whenever people say Zotes aren't canon, it's like, yes, they are.
High Fleet Colossus. Literally, the main creatures of that High Fleet were Zotes. Described as being multi-limbed centaur-like creatures that didn't appear to be Tyranids yet could use bioweapons.
Yep, Zotes.
Zotes.
Yeah.
Zotes in all but name.
So yeah, that's my quote-unquote rant.
And with that, I think we should wrap this one up.
Yes, we should.
It's about right.
So, thank you everyone for joining us this edition. We hope you had fun. So, until next time, this has been Remleiz from 40k Theories.
This has been Michael for Tactica Imperialis.
And I'm Alexis, the Ego Queen. Love me.
And we'll see you all again next time. Bye-bye.